again, I want to say thank you to coming to South Loop, Bronzeville Empowerment Center.
It's my great privilege and great pleasure to introduce the moderator of this discussion, who is the director of the Universal Oneness Empowerment Center, our satellite in the southeast and southwestern suburbs. It's my great privilege and pleasure to present to you the Latina D. Harris. Let's hear it from Latina D. Harris.
Thank you all. Thank you for coming. It's really good to see you. I know the flyer said Latina D. Harris, but I decided to invite some of my friends out to talk with me about this subject matter. We're working with A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. And I figured, why should I have all the fun? So I invited Dr. Valencia Ray, Tekla Sayers, and Bobby Howell. And I want them to give a brief introduction of themselves so you'll know who they are and why they were chosen to be on the panel with me.
Starting with me. Okay, again, Valencia Ray, and I have been a practicing ophthalmologist, concentrating on eye surgery and both medical and surgical. I came, I started the practice after training in 1991, so it had been a while, and my practice was here in Chicago on 85th and State, the Mercy Medical Building until last June 2007. And I decided it was time for me to change. I was led to change, and I am getting on with my life purpose. That was part of my life purpose, but it's a metamorphosis into something different. So I am in the process of taking my daily steps to go where I know I'm ultimately heading. And this was a very appropriate book for me. I'm very familiar with Eckhart Tolle. I had read The Power of Now many years ago when it first came out, and I have been to some of his teachings before he became Eckhart Tolle. And so I very much appreciate what the book has to say, and I'm actually applying it in my life.
Very good. Tekla?
My name is Tekla Sayers. I am the director of the Northwest Indiana satellite of Christ Universal Temple. I'm delighted to be in this part of the country. Professionally, I am a fundraiser and nonprofit management consultant. I've worked for a variety of nonprofit organizations over the past 30 years, and this past year, some friends and I started our own consulting firm.
Very good. Bobby.
I'm Bobby Howell. I'm a member of Christ Universal Temple, Man Express with Christ as well. It's my daughter, 15-year-old there. Yes, I am a single parent, and I'll tie all that in with what we're talking about with roles and functions. And as far as this discussion, having been part of a discussion now at Tekla Center, it's a very much needed topic to discuss. And I would try to say about the drama that we're seeing in our own lives, in our world. So I'm glad to be part of this discussion with Tina.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, all of these people, Dr. Ray has done a workshop for me out in Joliet, and we've had some social outings together. And Tekla and I went through teacher training together, so we've been through the fire, as you might say.
And a number of good meals.
Right, a number of good meals, because we must eat while we're feeding our souls. On that, how do you begin to balance that? You deciding to follow your purpose with the family, the friends, the relationship, your community, the world, how they look at that. How do you balance that, or can you?
I'm not trying to balance it. I'm just trying to go where I feel led and do what I feel called to do, and I feel like the responsibility is not on me. I turn that over to the universe, and I know everything will work out just fine. I'm still in the house, my bills are up to date, food in the refrigerator, and I'm
All your needs are
enjoying my friends, I'm enjoying my family, I'm enjoying the work that I do. And I have more time to do it.
And so for me, I've always known I was going to do this. Ophthalmology proved to be a metaphor for what I'm doing now. Instead of helping people see with their anatomical eye, I have a vision for helping people see with their mind's eye, the vision for their life. And if you don't go within, it's a lot of distraction out there. What I was doing was good, but it wasn't my best for now. So during those years, it was my best for that time, but that's where listening and going in matters so much, because it was not that I didn't like what I was doing. It's not that I was, I gotta get out of here. It was just, I have a regular meditation practice. And so in the middle of 2006, I started feeling a pull to move on. And as it became clearer that specifically June 2007, move on, I questioned, oh my gosh, I wasn't quite thinking it was going to be that soon. And what ended up happening was I ended up, after a few weeks of, just hearing correctly, I even noticed a little before then, and especially after then, I called it my anointing was leaving, where I have 2 children, and they were in a private school close to the office, and I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning and do my meditation, get out the house by 7, drop them off, go through my day, pick them up, and I was doing it with ease, no problem. I had a very busy practice, no problem. I started noticing it was getting harder. So it's like, something's God's trying to tell me something, that kind of thing. So I finally just said, fine, I don't know how this is gonna happen, but you have to take care of it. Long story short, it was only a difference of 2 telephone calls that made the difference between, finding, I felt to call a certain person for my attorney. A few months go by, call a certain person, just let them know I'm thinking about this. And long story short, it closed June 2007.
You're talking about the mind's eye, how you get people to go from the outer and deal with the mind's eye, and that ties right in with the ego. Whereas you're identifying outer happenings with who you are, and they're always changing, so you're forever changing inside, trying to make the adjustment for what's changing. And I think the mind's eye is what's happening with you that affects you alone. I mean, there's so many analogies that in your practice that you can use with the clear lenses and the same old prescription you're still trying to see.
Transition lenses.
And unless you change those prescriptions, you're still trying to see new occurrences through those old prescriptions, but at the same time, you're damaging yourself. You're not growing. You're staying stagnant, trying to, Bible said it very clearly as well, as trying to put new wine in old wine skins. It's just not going to work. So there's just so many things that we can do as far as the balance goes. We were talking about how do you balance the outer. I think you could use that to your advantage with balancing the outer occurrences, because it first starts within, and it mirrors what's going on inside of you. Or it's not, as Eric Butterworth said, it's not that you're not trying to make things right, but to see things rightly. And so when you start seeing things differently, I may not have gotten along with you in this example, but then next week you come back, oh, she's changed. But no, I've changed. In any equation, I can't change you. I can change myself, and that equation changes. So instead of me focusing on you and getting myself stressed out on the outer, I work on me, and it's going to inevitably change. So I change myself, then you'll change, even if it's the way I see it. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. One of my favorite sayings is a quote from Shakespeare that says, "All the world's a stage." You've heard this. And all the men and women are merely players.